I gotta tell you, man, the legal system is the people in it are so fucking stupid, man. I mean, they're supposed to be the brightest and the smartest and the most intelligent, all this crap. But, well, let me play a little bit of this and then I'll try to explain.
President Donald Trump is slamming his former attorney Michael Cohen for taping a conversation that the two had about a payment that was intended to suppress Playboy model Karen McDougal from speaking out about an alleged affair in 2006 with Mr. Trump. Well, the president tweeted that it's inconceivable that a lawyer would tape a client, totally unheard of and perhaps illegal. The good news is that your favorite president did nothing wrong.
Okay, now, first of all, she's not quoting it very well, but it's never illegal for anybody to record themselves and whatever is going on around them. I mean, that is a human right, and it's common sense, man. I mean, a person has a right to record what goes around them. So often in life, people lie. So you'll be like just going about your normal day, and you'll get into some kind of incident, and all of a sudden somebody will be like, "Well, no, I didn't say that," or "You know what he said," or "This happened," or "That happened," and they'll lie and they'll hurt you because they're assholes, right? I mean, how many times? A million times. Matter of fact, it happened to me so many times that I went out long time ago when you had the little tapes and bought myself voice recorders, and they didn't record very well. You had to stick them in your pocket. They were huge. I mean, compared to what they have now, so everybody could see them. And you don't want to walk around with a voice recorder that everybody can see. So, uh, obviously, you have a right to record what goes around you. Now, there's another side of this, and this is really important too. It's at least as important, even maybe more important. If you take your eyes and ears and your brain and take them together, they are a recorder. The problem is the playback can be denied because it's not uh, right. I mean, anybody can say, well, it's his word against mine, la da 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 da. Well, on the other hand, a tape recorder or a voice recorder or a camera, videotape, whatever, people are much less likely to deny it. Experts can look at it. I can look at audio recordings and tell when they've been, because when you cut and paste, there's some obvious differences. I mean, first of all, there's quite often a difference in the background, and it can be seen on a recording, on a digital recording, and a lot of other things. There's just a ton of ways that you can see that they were cut and paste. So, and there's a lot of other things that analysts can do. They can analyze the waves with different types of machines and stuff. Uh, so, whereas uh, your eyes and ears and brain really are a camcorder, and one of these days we may be able to put chips inside our brains and stuff and use it just like we do a camcorder. And it may be able to see just exactly what our eyes see and hear exactly what our ears hear, which will be amazing. But right now, what are you going to do? Are you going to tell people, okay, well, you can't record in here? Okay, so what do you want me to do? Cover my eyes and put earplugs in my ears? I mean, come on. So basically, what it comes down to is if you want to tell a person, like I see signs up on the walls, like in my dentist's office, no video or tape recording. What the fuck is that all about, number one? And number two, what do you want to blind me and you want to cover my ears? This is ridiculous. Of course, a person has a right, a human right, to record with video, audio, whatever, what they can see or hear. Of course. Okay, now there's some more in here that I want to talk about, uh, and it doesn't have anything to do with that. And I think by watching it'll remind me what it was. So here we go.
Wrong. Well, the president's current attorney, Rudy Giuliani, says that while Mr. Trump did discuss a payment with Cohen, no payment was ever actually made. And so he believes that the president is in no danger. CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman joins us now by phone. Ricky, is the president right when he says it's possibly illegal for Cohen to have taped him?
It's not illegal, but it may not be very ethical on the part of Michael Cohen. In New York, we have what we call a one-party consent state. And what that means in plain English is that only one person has to know that you are tape recording a conversation.
Okay, that's just stupid, right? I mean, why base it on only one person has to know? I mean, if they're trying to say that anyone has the right to record their own surroundings, they shouldn't put it that way. They should just put it the way I put it. It's just anybody has the right to record their own surroundings, saying, oh, only one person has to know. This is silly. I mean, lawyers do this all the time. They just make things way, way, way overly complicated and deceptive. And they do it and you know what? And it shouldn't be according to state. The United States federal laws should be like human rights. You know, civil rights the human rights should be in the civil rights, should cover all of us. There should be no state. And the states are doing this. States are saying you can't videotape a police officer. Of course, they're having to change that in a lot of states because they're getting so much pressure, right? But they do. They make, God, states have some stupid ass laws, and they fuck over people until they finally get it up into the federal courts and get it fixed. And that's not right, man. State courts should not be able to override federal law, and federal law should be applied at the state levels. So, I mean, they do it, but in a roundabout way, so that states can screw with people. So in a state where they like screwing with liberals or whatever, they will screw them over for, LGBT rights and things, and civil rights for, and like black people and stuff, voting rights and all that kind of stuff. And they get to play with them and screw them around until it gets to the Supreme Court. You shouldn't be able to do that, man. And the Supreme Court and all the other federal whatever courts, they should be straightened out on their laws so that we're protected as American citizens from our states, right? I mean, that just makes besides the fact that the laws should make sense, right? All Americans should be treated equally under the law, etc. And a lot of the laws are completely ignored in all states, like innocent until proven guilty. Cops shouldn't be allowed to arrest people just because they suspect something about them. They should have to follow them around and and stay out of their way and not harass them in any way. But if they want to investigate, there should be a way for them to investigate. And then once they get a case, they should take it to a court. They should tell the people, look, you can show up or not show up. It's up to you, but we're going to try you based on the evidence we have. And once they get a conviction, then they can arrest them. But they're just arresting people right and left. And like in my case, I'm innocent. Sooner or later they're gonna try and try me. But in the meantime, they've arrested me, and in an awful way, really abusing me the way that they did it. And they've charged me, and they put it on the local news, and they put it on these websites. One's called Busted. Put a picture of me that they took at 10 o'clock at night in a place where they took me and detained me. And they have no right. I'm innocent until proven guilty. They have no right to do all these things, and they've told me I can't go into the food stamp place and take care of my business and stuff. I mean, they've just totally screwed me, and like punishment before you're actually guilty. So anyway, let me listen to this again a little bit.
So there's nothing illegal about taping this. However, a lawyer has really three choices when they have a conversation with a client about how to remember the conversation. They could just simply remember.
I can't believe she's explaining this like it needs to be explained. Like there's something about the legal understanding of it that's so fancy that she has to explain to us that, oh, well, he could just remember it, or he could just write it down, or he could tape it. Duh. Doi. What a ding-dong. I mean, why is she explaining this stupidity? Now, this is the last thing I wanted to talk about, because she's going to start talking about Trump and the privilege. So, a lawyer has a legal right to not have to turn over anything or to say anything about what was said between him and his client. Okay, so that's true. But that doesn't have anything to do with them coming in and raiding his office. A client attorney privilege applies to what he does. It doesn't mean that the police or whoever's investigating can't get a subpoena and search a lawyer's office. Isn't somehow like off limits just because he's got attorney-client privilege. No. They just can't make him talk. They can go in and raid an office and take the stuff. If he doesn't have the brains to take all the tapes and everything and hide them away somewhere where they won't find them, then that's his stupidity, right? That he should have made sure they were gone. Now, as to whether at any time whether some judge should give a warrant, a search warrant, that's a whole nother matter, and I'm sure we'll get into that sometime, since I have my little site, my little Facebook group about, or page or whatever it is, about surveillance, NSA, and all that kind of stuff. But as far as, I mean, and just saying that they got a warrant is good enough? No, I mean, any warrant can be scrutinized, right? But for sure, if the warrant was fair, so if they had reasonable reason to believe that crimes were being committed, and then they searched the place and found something. I mean, that's just what Trump and his lawyers are doing and his business associates. Uh, if there's a lot of evidence that they're committing crimes, judges should give out search warrants, right? Makes sense to me, that's for sure. So I think that pretty much covers it. And I think that the way that judges or these people, these supposed legal experts, and the whole legal system. I mean, yeah, there's smart people in there, and there's good people like the guy from Kentucky. Oh, I can't think of his name now, but he's dead now, unfortunately. Anyway, there's good lawyers and good people that decide to become lawyers. I'm not saying they're all bad. Uh, some of them are good. But the whole system and the way they do it. I studied law. I took business law. I covered torts and contracts, and I know that it's stupid. I know that the way, I mean, they use all these. It's just like the other day, my judge was being kind of condescending, like he doesn't know I know anything about law. He's starting to figure out how smart I am because I'm really taking them to task and legally in the way that. But you know what? Legal and common sense, very much in common. When they don't force you to use all their fancy lingo. So he tells me, well, if you do this to suppress the evidence, you have to do it ilim or whatever it's called anyway. All it is pre-trial, before you start. So call it pre-trial. Everybody understands pre-trial. You know, everybody understands that. Why screw with names? Why name things differently, even though they're exactly the same thing? So what I'm saying is there's all kinds of screwy shit built into the legal system to make it complicated so that your average person, it's not so much that the average person can't do it as they use it to try and intimidate them. It's like, no, you're doing it wrong. Why? Because I call it a pre-trial motion, a motion to suppress evidence pre-trial, instead of Ilim or Ilmeen or whatever they call it. Fuck Ilmeen and Ilim or whatever they call it. Who gives a shit about the stupid little secret language and codes and stuff that they invent that don't actually enhance the process or the system in any way? They're just designed to, like, for a club where they speak Pig Latin or something. If you don't know Pig Latin, then you're shit out of luck, right? Why? What's the point? Except for to exclude people and to, I mean, yeah, if you're like trying to exclude people, but courts shouldn't do that. Law shouldn't do that. Shouldn't try to exclude normal people, out of spite or whatever it is that they're doing it for. Okay, so just a little bit about the law and how it works and my experiences, but mainly covering this thing right here.